misunderstood. It's blamed for a lot of things. It's viewed as very dirty. It's viewed as an animal that causes plagues. And really, rats are very intelligent and gentle creatures. And when the rat shows up, it's really talking about things not necessarily being as they seem. And I think that they were unaware that you didn't feel as though this connection was right anymore. I think it really threw them for a loop. And in terms of how they are viewing or feeling about this separation, they have weight of truth and service. I'm feeling as though they are really coming to terms with how they actually didn't show up for you in the way in which you needed. I was actually talking with someone today about this, about how sometimes it can be really difficult for people to understand that just because you're showing up doesn't mean you're showing up for people in the way in which they need. Um, and I think that that's kind of the energy that I'm getting here with the poet and the spider, is that they may have thought that this is how they were acting was what you wanted. Um, but perhaps your love languages were different, or um, what you really needed was more time together. But the way that they show it for people when there's crises or anything of that nature is to give people space. It seems like there was just like they felt as though they were showing up for you, but really they weren't actually considering your unique needs. And this is weighing heavily on them now. I think that they've finally come to this realization that just because they were like I'm getting it feels like if a child was crying and you asked them what was wrong and they said that they were hungry, and then you were like, okay, let's go shopping for clothes, you need new clothes, like that would be. And then in your mind it would be so bizarre if in your mind you're like, well, I gave them what I saw that they needed. I don't know why they're not thankful. I don't know why they're still crying. It's like kind of like that, where like that's kind of it's a weird example, but it's the example that came to my mind. And I think that they're realizing that like just because they did something doesn't mean that it was like the best thing for you or what you needed or what you wanted. And with service here, this is more of this like giving energy. And I think that there's a lot of regret here for not having listened to you or seen what it is that you wanted or seen what it is that you needed in order for this connection to progress. There's regret here for not having realized it sooner. And I'm feeling as though with the weight of truth and service here, that if they had if they had the opportunity, they would want to try to make this right. They would want to try to show up for you in the way in which you need or want. They would want to listen to you um, rather than force their opinion or ideas on you. The first thing that I heard and felt with this energy card was, I'm coming back, I'm coming back. And with isolation here and faith, along with the weight of the truth, I'm feeling like they would like to let you know that this period of no contact, they are really using in a way to help them grow. They are using this to be introspective and to try to become a better friend or partner or just overall person. And they are really hoping that with time, you will have faith in them, that they would be able to show up for you in the way that you want them to. I think with this Earth card, what they really want to tell you, what they're trying to say here, is that they are recognizing that there was a lot of potential in this connection, that they overlooked. And if they were to have an opportunity again, they would really like to ground it in in a more stable, secure way. Let's keep going. Okay. So, pile one. Um, the first thing that I feel called to talk about is the Seven of Cups reverse. This is the overall encompassing energy of this spread, and this is giving me more of this focus energy that I was talking about here, where they really would like to let you know that you're their sole focus right now. There's no one else on their mind but you. And with this star here, um, there's a couple of things that I'm getting from this. For one, I think that you are, um, there's this energy of like the one who got away in this card, but also with the Nine of Pentacles right underneath it, I feel as though they are recognizing that perhaps they took a little bit of your power away. They did not treat you like this Nine of Pentacles upright, like this woman or person standing in a garden with this abundance mindset. They didn't view you in this way. Um, and honestly, like another thing that I'm getting from this Nine of Pentacles is kind of this gambler shadow attribute, relying on luck rather than hard work. Um, I don't know, like it kind of feels like this is such a specific message, but it kind of gives me the impression that they felt like when they were in this connection, they really didn't see the value of perhaps law of attraction or your capability of having manifested what it is that you want in life. There was this like attitude within them that um, was kind of like it kind of like scoffed at you. And now here with the star, it's like they want to have this energy in themselves. Like they're realizing that maybe they shouldn't have like scoffed at this idea. Like it's like they were looking at you in the past in the sense of like everything comes easy to this person, so you know there's not I don't respect that or something like that. And now I think um they're realizing that like actually you're very abundant and beautiful and lovely to be around, and they wish that they could be closer to you. They're focusing on you and you alone. And with the Ace of Swords here and the Ten of Cups, they want to let you know that they have a huge amount of clarity that they didn't have in the past. And with the Weight of Truth, this is giving me more of the same energy of like finally thinking clearly, finally having finally being able to slow down your thoughts or anxieties so that you can think clearly and calmly and in an organized way. And the Ace of Swords is also a card of truth. And I think what they're realizing is that this connection brought them a lot of joy, and they still see a future here. With the star, this is like they're really hoping that they can have another opportunity. I think another thing with the Seven of Cups and then the Knight of Swords both being reversed, and then this Three of Swords, there could have been like some playerish energy here where perhaps they weren't really ready to like settle down, or they really didn't want to focus solely on you. Um, and like I'm not really picking up on, at least from how they're remembering themselves, I'm not really picking up on anything. Well, yeah, there's like a little bit of like player energy here. They might not have even like with the poet here and then spider, they might have even said things just to kind of get what it is that they wanted from you without any intention of actually showing up in this like poetic energy. Um and it's ended up hurting them. it's ended up hurting them. And now with this reverse, it's like they realize that they don't want that. What they want is you. And that's it. They've changed with this transmute part. They want to tell you that they've changed. But with strength reversed and then the Eight of Wands reversed, I think that this is indicating that it might be some time before there is contact. Like I'm sensing with strength reversed, there is more healing to do. There are more changes in their life that they need to accomplish before they can come forward and share this information with you. Hmm. Yeah, with the poet here, it's like that they either were manipulative in the way in which they kind of like portrayed themselves, and portrayed how they wanted to this connection to go in a sense, um, or there was like this attitude of self-righteousness and like knowing what's best and thinking that you don't really know all that much. And with the rat here, it's like they're realizing that they were quite wrong. um okay, let's go ahead and get some messages. What else does pile one's person want to say to pile one? Okay, we have, you were the best thing in my life. Yep, it's that like one that got away energy. Oh, Jesus. That's too many. The whole deck threw out. Okay, hold on. These cards are like really slippery, which is kind of nice, but then I left when I saw you with someone. Hmm. I love you unconditionally. And I hope that one day, I hope that you can forgive me one day. Yeah, like this card right here, I left when I saw you with someone, could be them acknowledging that like it could be reversed, where it's like they're acknowledging that you left because they weren't actually dedicating their energy to you. Okay. So the last thing that I want to do for you guys, we'll go ahead and look at this really quickly, and then we'll also get some affirmations for you. So the card that you guys have in terms of potential shadow work to explore is compulsive behaviors. Identify your internal feelings. What are you looking to control or feel for the moment? So leave that there. Um, if any of you feel like sharing this, um, I would love to hear any insight you have on this particular shadow side of how to explore it, how to transform it. Okay, so in terms of affirmations, we have, I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and at peace. And of course, like you don't have to listen to this at all. I don't want to like make anyone feel as though they need to do work that perhaps they don't need to do. I think it's just really important, um, simply because a lot of my readings on this channel have to do with how other people are feeling or what other people want. And I think that it's like really important to remember that we have so much power in our lives to make changes when things aren't going our way, to practice acceptance um, whenever things don't go our way, and to really not only step out of situations that aren't working for us, but also step into ourselves and and do a little bit of focusing on ourselves rather than what other people are wanting. So, Ani, feel free to just completely ignore that. The difficult relationships in my life are the perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. And then my friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. All right, Pile Long. Well, that's what I'm seeing for you. If this resonated, I would love to hear about how it did or what's going on in the comment section. And thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I really hope that I'll be able to see you in another video soon. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. So today we are asking, what is the person that you are in no contact with wanting to say to you? So how I'm going to do it today is I have oracle cards here, and they are going to represent how your person remembers themselves in this connection, how they remember you in this connection, how they're feeling about this separation. And then this card right here is a shadow work card, and I'm going to wait until the very end to read this. And if that's not something that you necessarily want to listen to, feel free to skip over it. I just think that it's um, I think with how many videos I do on how other people are feeling about you or what other people want to say to you, I like to do um, things like this as well, just to help remind us of our power that we have in walking away or making changes when we're not happy, or even holding ourselves accountable. Um, Now, of course, if there's ever any situations in which you are being treated so incredibly poorly or disrespectfully, obviously, I'm not saying that there is anything in which you need to hold yourself accountable for. Um, we all are responsible for our behaviors. And if someone is treating you poorly, that is because of them and their um, moral compass or inability to be decent, like a decent human being. So if you're not ready to hear this, you don't want to, feel free to just go ahead and skip over it. So, in terms of how they remember themselves, they are remembering themselves as the goddess. The light attribute is the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. And the shadow attribute is exploitation of the female nature and form. And they remember themselves as the centipede and the snake. How they remember you is the beggar. So the light attributes of the beggar are confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self esteem. And the shadow attribute is dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. And they remember you as. So, the way that they are remembering themselves is as somebody who um, was incredibly willing to change, was really open to growth, was found growth to be very important. Um, and also, I think with Centipede here, they're remembering themselves as somebody who um, was maybe a bit of a perfectionist. Um, and also kind of fast, like really wanting to push this connection forward very. And I think that they really remember themselves as somebody who put a lot of emphasis on this connection. And with Goddess here, I'm sensing that they really are holding themselves in high regard in terms of how they were showing up for you and for both of you, for one another. And then with the beggar here and then the possum, I am getting the feeling that um, they remember you as somebody who was like a little bit more attached or had more needs than they did, and perhaps really eventually decided to distance themselves from this connection because the needs became um, something that they weren't willing to meet you on. Um, the possum can represent like a conflict avoidant type of nature. And so what I'm sensing here is that they might have even felt as though maybe you weren't really being authentic with them about what it is that you needed or wanted, for fear of being left. But I'm really picking up more on this shadow attribute in terms of how they remember you, with dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. I feel as though they think that perhaps they were trying really hard. They were trying to be as self-assuring as possible or as growth minded as possible, and it wasn't enough. It feels like this person sees themselves as somebody who put in a lot of work and it wasn't enough. And perhaps it wasn't. Um, this is from their perspective, but from what I'm feeling based on their perspective, they feel as though you let your anxiety or your wounds get the better of you, and you didn't see them in the light in which they really tried immensely to show you. And then in terms of how they are feeling about this separation, we have good things and someone soon. So I mean, for this is there's two different scenarios here. The biggest one that I'm picking up on is that they are sensing that they feel in this separation as though this was what is best for the both of you, and they're hoping that with time and with healing they can move on to something different or to someone different, and they're hoping the same for you. I'm really picking up on like an element of trust here, of trusting that this is where they are meant to be, and really trying to practice sitting in that trust rather than sitting in a place of wanting to control. For some of you, this could be them looking at this connection or this separation as an opportunity for a reunion of some kind. But that's honestly not that's not the energy that I'm picking up on the most here. Um, I think what I'm feeling the most from your person is that they feel as though you inadvertently pushed them away, and after a certain point they just went ahead and accepted it. Um, but let's keep going. Oh wow, that was a terrible shuffle. But that's better. Okay, what does pile two's person want to say to them? What do they want to say to pile two? Okay, we have pain, rejection. What do they want to say to pile two? Yeah, I think for what they would like to say is that this connection has harmed them, or they are hurting in this separation, that they're mourning this. They feel as though they were pushed away with rejection here. And also I think in a sense with rejection and stop, they are also rejecting the idea of a future or of a return, a reunion. Like I was saying before, I was picking up on for the majority of you that this person has feelings of acceptance and of wanting to move forward past this connection. And these cards are just further confirmation for me that that is in fact how they are feeling right now. Um, let's keep going. What did I want to say to you? We have growth, and we have gratitude. Um, so obviously, with gratitude here, they would like to thank you. There is fondness here, and I think with all of the effort that they felt as though they put in, it's because there was deep care here, and I'm sure there still is deep care here. But I think what they really want to say to you is that they are still with this snake energy of how they remember themselves, transforming and shedding skin, shedding old skin, shedding old patterns, is something that is really, really important to them. And I feel like they really want to tell you that this connection helped push them towards a new evolutionary process or a new shedding of their skin. And they're acknowledging that this connection happened for a reason. And they have an immense amount of gratitude for having met you and cared for you. Let's keep going. If this, if you're still watching, I'm assuming it's been resonating. So I never know. I was gonna say if this isn't resonating for you, find a different pile. But at this point, if you're still watching, this is probably resonating with you. And I I want to be honest with what I'm seeing, but I truly believe that I can be honest and transparent with what I'm seeing and still show compassion and gentleness and tact. Um, and if this is painful to hear in any way, I'm very, very sorry. Um, but I don't want to mislead anyone and make all of my readings about um, this is your twin flame and they're not talking to you right now because for X, Y, and Z when in reality it's not what I'm seeing. I don't want to give false hope. Um, so we have the two of cups. We have the four of swords reversed, the knight of wands reversed, the five of wands, the four of wands. What do they want to say to you? Lovers reversed. Okay, we have the Emperor reversed. We have the Wheel of Fortune and the Queen of Pentacles. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Empress reversed. So very interesting. Um, because we have a lot of like really positive cards, but like I mean, we have the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands. That's beautiful. We have the Lovers here, and we also have the Emperor and the Empress. We have Divine. Um, and I think that what they want to say to you is that with this Wheel of Fortune here, it's like right person, wrong time is the energy that I'm picking up on most. That's like something that they would really like to share with you. I'm also feeling a sense of like a loss of a home with this Four of Wands here and the Queen of Pentacles, and also with the Empress. Um, it's like it was almost a perfect fit, or it could have been if things had just been slightly different, but they um I think with the Five of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Queen of Pentacles here, they're also wanting to share with you that they want something, they want to be trusted. They don't want to have to constantly prove themselves. They don't want to have to constantly um try to convince their partner that nothing is going on. And with the Emperor and the Knight of Wands, I'm feeling as though they felt very disempowered in this connection after a certain point. And with the Emperor Empress here too, I'm sensing that they feel as though this was disempowering for the both of you. Um, yeah, like it's very stagnant. This Knight of Wands reversed is giving me very stagnant energy, and the Four of Swords reversed with the Lovers is kind of giving me the feeling that like um, they want to let you know that like there was no amount of like break, like let's take a break or let's take a breather for a few weeks or anything like that that could have changed this after a certain point. I feel like they just want you to know that like yeah, like with this Wheel of Fortune, it feels like they're just in a state of they're in a state of acceptance in terms of how this connection has gone. I don't think that it's what they wanted. With the Two of Cups here and the Four of Wands, there's an acknowledgement of love and joy here. But I mean, look at all of these reversals. There's so much blocked energy here. But I think that at the end of the day, they still want you to know that like they care for you. It's not like they're rejecting you and this is easy for them. They wish that you two could come to a compromise and come together and be reunited, but they don't see that written in the stuff. At least not right now with the whole right person, wrong time that I was picking up on. I think that they're acknowledging that like you both have a lot of growth to do in order to turn both of these Emperor and the Empress upright. I think they're under the impression that they might be a little bit further along on this, but they're not trying to say that it was all you. That's another thing that I want to point out is that they are admitting here with this Emperor reversed that they're not putting all of the blame on you. Let's get some hidden truth messages. What's this pile two's person? I know I was a distraction. Yeah, I'm with the beggar here. I really was getting like shadow the shadow attributes rather than the light attributes. And if that resonated with you as well, I feel like they felt as though you needed them to kind of help. I don't want to say heal a wound, but it was like you wanted to use them as a band-aid rather than like acknowledge that this wound actually needed some like pretty profound healing. Take that how it resonates. But I'm just sensing that whatever was going on, you were using them as a distraction and wanting them to kind of like meet your needs rather than acknowledging that maybe there are some needs within you that have nothing to do with this person that need to be addressed and worked on. What I want to say to you, I knew exactly what I was doing. I left when I saw you with someone. Hmm. And that could be the case too with this, like, that was another thing that I was like kind of picking up on, but like I was really getting more of like a stable, like a desire for stability here with this Queen of Pentacles, but we do have the Emperor and the Empress, and then also this third person here. So for some of you, there could have been some sort of third party situation where perhaps when they, if you felt like they weren't meeting your needs, you sought that out elsewhere. But that's not going to be for all of you. And I want to tell you how and then let's go ahead and get into this shadow card. I'm going to do this shadow card, and then I'm also going to get some affirmations for you guys. So your shadow oracle is self-absorbed. Seek to feel what others are feeling. Express empathy to others to overcome this. So if this is something that is resonating with you, um, I would love to hear about like what advice you might have for all of us, because everything that is in any of these cards in this shadow oracle deck is human. These are human feelings, and they're very normal, and working on them is something that we can all continuously do while still showing ourselves love and while still acknowledging that we still deserve love and respect and dignity regardless of where we are on our healing journey. But yeah, if you have any insight for the rest of us, please share. Okay, and then, oh yeah, some affirmations for you guys. What affirmations are there for pile 2? Let me be still today and listen to the truth inside. Yeah, I think like take it how it resonates. 1,000 days. If that can resonate with someone. What else is owning my power inspires others to do the same. I am not afraid to shine. My happiness is a direct reflection of how quickly I can shift my perceptions from fear to okay, pile 2. Well, this is what I'm seeing for you guys. If it resonated, I would love to hear about how it did or what's going on in the comments down below. Um, Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I really genuinely love reading tarot. Um, and I'm so thankful to be able to do this and people watch. I'm very thankful is all I want to say. Thank you. And hopefully I will have the chance to read for you in another video. Bye. Hello, pile 3. So today we're asking, what is it that your person that you are in no contact with wants to. So how we're going to do it today is I have oracle cards here that are going to represent how your person remembers seeing themselves in this connection, as well as you. Also, how they are feeling about this separation. And then this card right here is a shadow oracle card. And I'm going to wait until the end to read this. You don't have to stay. Please don't feel like you have to do shadow work because I've pulled a card for you. I just recently got this deck, and honestly, I've just been feeling, since I do so many, like, how are they feeling? What do they think of you? What do they want type of things on my channel? I really just want to also emphasize our own power that we have in our life, and the power we have in changing our course, or in making decisions to walk away from things that aren't serving us, even if there is some type of connection there, or even holding ourselves accountable when perhaps it is us who is um, not showing up as our highest selves. We're all human, and I think that this is a really great way to embrace the humanness in us. So if you'd like to be a part of this and read it, it may resonate, it may not. Um, but I think it's just important to remember our own power that we have in our lives. Anyway, how your person remembers themselves in this connection, we have gossip. Light attributes are awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust. And the shadow attributes are thrives on the power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidence. And we have, and then in terms of how they remember you, we have the light attribute is thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. And the shadow attribute is inability to commit to a path. And and then in terms of how they are feeling about this separation, we have guilt. This to me is very, very, very obvious. Um, this person is remembering themselves as somebody who was very sleazy, very slick, very deceptive, very, um, I don't know, just kind of a schmuck. They're remembering themselves as a schmuck. The raccoon is energetically a creature of disguise. If you look at the patterns on their face, it looks as though they are wearing a mask. They're also very curious and very exploratory, and really don't have any boundaries. And with that being said, I'm sensing that this person remembers themselves in the shadow attributes of the gossip, most specifically in terms of betraying. I feel as though this person is remembering themselves as somebody who perhaps um, crossed a boundary with you, or became curious about another person and was unfaithful in some way. However it resonates with you, there's this feeling of deception, and they're acknowledging it. And then in terms of how they remember you, we have the bear. This is mother energy. This is protective energy. This is nurturing, loving energy. Um, they're remembering you as somebody who was very beautiful and very loving to them. And I don't know if it's me or them that's thinking this, but they can't believe that they treated you this way. And with Seeker here, I'm sensing that they are remembering in the moment a lot of your picking up on something wasn't right in this connection, and you were seeking to know the truth. Perhaps you were the one who found out about this. You did some sort of like investigating, or there's just this energy of like them remembering you even if you weren't aware of it, you were intuitively picking up on things, and they could see it. And then in terms of how they are feeling about this separation, we have gifts to the portal. I think that they're like kind of hopeful that this might turn into something still, like there might be some sort of like possibility to fix this. But really, I'm getting like still this selfish energy, still wondering what's in it for them. Like in this situation, they're not really thinking right now in terms, how can I make this right? Or I can't believe I treated this person this way. And now they're, I can't believe I harmed them or betrayed them or let them down. They're not really thinking like that right now. There's no feelings of remorse here with this gifts to the portal. I'm getting more of like a still like a scavenger type energy with the raccoon where it's like, all right, well, I'm not getting anything now, so what else can I find? And I think that they're hoping that they can still scavenge around in this connection. But I mean, based on what I don't want to, I'm not going to tell. You guys know your. Let's go. What do they want to? What do they want to say to you? What does Child's person want to say? We have a caution. Um. So, but I think this message is coming from their higher, and their higher self is wanting you to know that this person is still in an incredibly selfish energy. I don't think that they are seeing the error of their ways at all with this caution here. I think this is a warning for you. And honestly, I wanted to say this, but I didn't. Um, and now it's come out in the cards. I think it's important for you to really practice discernment if this is something that you are still curious to explore. And if this is resonating with you, this card is indicating that it probably wouldn't be for your best. And with success here, I'm sensing that they want to let you know that they're still very selfish and they're still looking out for. Um, but they also want to let you know that this behavior is coming from, and this is not me justifying anything. There's no justification for treating other people poorly, and we all make mistakes. Um, but we all make mistakes. But then there's also accountability. Um, at a certain point, we have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to seek out help if we need it. And what they want to let you know is that they are living in a state of fear moment. And I think that like anyone who treats another person like this really isn't in a state of feeling secure in themselves or in life in general, in trusting life and trusting the process. This is somebody who is really in a scarcity mindset, um, with the scavenger raccoony energy. It's very and with anger here, I think that they also want to let you know that they are not holding themselves accountable. They're not. They're seeing this as like it's so incredibly selfish. The energy that I'm feeling is beyond selfish and delusional. Like they do not want to look at themselves in the mirror. Angry that they got caught, and now they're like, well, now what? Now what can I get? Who can I take from now? How can I get something out of it? They have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of and they're unwilling to see it. They're nowhere near coming to this conclusion. But what they like to say to you? What do they want to say? We have air, but what they want to say to you is they want to talk to you. They don't like this no contact. And we have grounded. I feel like with grounded here, what this is indicating to me is that right now they're not in a stable place and they would like to try to come back and communicate with you so that they can get some stability again. You should, I don't know if you can hear the sirens, but I would take that as more cautionary, a more cautionary message. Okay, what do they want to say to you? We have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, but more grounding energy, more of this, like, I don't know, like, I feel like for some of you, they could be like, they could have used you for your money. We have Death, of Wands, Tickle, Queen of Wands, Nine of Pentacles, and then on the bottom of this is all this is okay. So with the Nine of Wands here, they're wanting to they want to tell you that they don't want to give up on this connection. Um, and the reason why they don't want to give up on this connection with this Strength card, typically this is like a card of like very gentle persuasion. You know, this person is like able to tame this lion without using force or anything. There's just a gentleness to this. And I think that this is just more indication that this person is like manipulative and one does not want to end this connection because they feel as though they're very good at being able to manipulate. And with the Seven of Pentacles being reversed, it's like they want to say that they don't want to give up on this connection. They don't want this connection to be over. They want to keep fighting for it, but they actually don't want to do any work. They just kind of want to just kind of weasel their way back in and start over with no consequence. And with the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands here, this to me just this feels like a con artist, like somebody who is looking at you and your abundance and your power and your aces, these aces of pentacles, these this money, this wealth. And if it's not like actual money, whatever it is that you are abundant in that they can benefit from, they are after. They want to take it for themselves. They don't want you to be this Nine of Pentacles alone in this garden with like an abundance mindset. They want it, they want to take the guise of a happy ending. I mean, if this person is like going to reach out, I would not be surprised. I would not, I mean, like, this is, it's just clear as day. This person is a con artist. And I do want to say, and I think I'm going to put it in my comment section below as well, that saying things like the person I was seeing was a narcissist. Um, I would like everyone to be really mindful of the words that they are using, because mental illness, especially personality disorders, are not as common as I think the word is used, for one. For two, there are a lot of stigmas in terms of personality disorders, one of them being that people who have mental illness um, are innately evil. And I just want us all to be really mindful on this channel of of what words we use to describe people, because the word narcissist is not synonymous with abuse or abuser, and there could be people here on this channel who are actively seeking treatment, and I don't want anyone to feel discouraged or feel as though they are a monster when they're in fact doing incredibly brave and intense work on themselves. Um, so I would just be I would just ask us all to be mindful of that. And that is in no way dismissing anyone's experiences of abuse or of heartache in any way. Um, I just think that we can use other words to describe situations that might be more accurate, for one, and for two, um, won't perpetuate stigma um, towards an entire group of people that have nothing to do with our circumstance. It's very harmful. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to put it in the comment section below as well. But I would say that this person is a con artist and is absolutely 100% trying to take advantage of you. And I like these. They're just a schmuck. Let's go ahead and get some messages. What else do you want to say to pile 3? I wish I could take back. We both know I am not the one for you. Timing just wasn't right. I look for you everywhere. Take those as they resonate. To me, like the thought, I wish I could take back my words. I'm over here thinking, yeah, because whatever you said didn't work. It's like this feeling of like having gotten caught and being upset that you got caught, not actually feeling. Okay, and then let's go ahead and look at this shadow card. It says, envy. Remind yourself that no one has it all. It's okay to celebrate others' successes. You truly are good. This one's a hard one for me sometimes. I know I've been betrayed before in the past, and envy is something that really creeped up. So if any of you guys have any insight to give on this shadow work, please share. If it's not resonating, it's probably not a message for you. But everything in this deck is something that we as humans experience, and there's no shame in it. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and get some affirmations. We have, okay, that one wanted to come out too. I communicate with ease and grace. People are willing to embrace what I have to say. I claim my desires. I hold great visions. I am ready to receive. You're very you're so very deserving of the love that you want. Very, very worthy. You don't need to do a single thing. It's your birthright to be loved. There's no such thing as a mistake. Everything happens in divine order. I am being guided to learn and grow. Okay, pile 3. Well, that is what I'm seeing for you guys. If this resonated, I would love to hear about what's going on or how it did in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to read for you today. I really do love reading tarot, and this has been such a joy for me. Um, Hopefully, I'll have the chance to read for you in another video soon. Bye. Hello, pile 4. So today we're asking, what does the person that you are in no contact with want to say to you? So today we are going to use these oracle cards to show us um, how your person remembers themselves in this connection, how they remember you in this connection, as well as how they're feeling about this separation. And then this card right here is a card from a new deck that I've purchased. It's a shadow work deck, and I'll save this card for the end. And if you don't feel like hearing about this, feel free to stop it before then. I think that it's just really important to remember our own power that we have in our lives, remember our worth. Um, and I think with all of the readings I do on how other people are feeling or thinking, I think that things like this are a really good way to kind of ground ourselves, and be with ourselves, and develop a relationship that's it's more important than what our potential partners, or our soulmates or twin flames are up to. It's important. So this may or may not resonate with you. Um, if it does, great. Maybe you can give insight to others on ways in which to explore this shadow self. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. It might not be a message for you. But let's go ahead and get right on into it. So, in terms of how they remember themselves as knight. Light attributes are loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. And the shadow attributes are allegiance to destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusion, and the mole. They remember you as child eternal. The light attributes are determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. And the shadow attributes are inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security, and the skunk. And okay, so the first thing that just popped into my mind when I was reading this child's eternal was the light attribute of the ability to see things with fresh eyes. And what I think is interesting is that over here we have the mole, and moles are blind, they cannot see. And then if we look at this image of the skunk here, there's an eye in the skunk's tail. So I definitely think that that is a sign that um, your person is remembering you as somebody who really had insight and perspective in this connection that they did not. And I think with the knight here, I think that they were showing up, they remember themselves as someone who is showing up in both the light and the shadow attributes. I think that they felt as though there was a lot of love coming from them, but perhaps there was a little bit of a romantic delusion where they felt as though you both were on the same page. Um, and I feel like what I just heard was love is blind. I feel like they perhaps chose what they wanted to see rather than what was actually in front of them. And what was in front of them was somebody, and this is from their perspective, somebody who was really young, perhaps didn't necessarily want to settle down, wanted to stay youthful and free, feeling free. And the skunk is a very independent creature and is very protective, self-protective. Obviously, skunks spray a really awful smell when they feel threatened. And so I'm sensing that there was not, um, there was not, you both weren't on the same page. In terms of how you felt or what you wanted, I'm sensing that they feel as though they felt love more deeply for you than perhaps you did for them. And of course, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. There's so many, and I think that they're recognizing with romantic delusions here that this possibly, um, what they're feeling might not necessarily be true. And I think one thing I'm getting with this child eternal was the thought of like settling down. And I think that what they might be realizing right now is that just because two people want different things doesn't negate their love for one another. So, like, if they really wanted to have like a monogamous, committed relationship and you were wanting something a little bit more free, I think that they viewed that as a threat to the love that you have for them, rather than just recognizing that perhaps your goals were different. Um, and that's just an example. Um, but yeah, I'm just feeling as though they're recognizing that you weren't on the same page and they were refusing to see it for a while. And then in terms of how they are feeling about this separation, we have spirits to guide you. So another thing that comes with this mole energy is because the mole is blind, there's a lot of faith and trust and intuitive guidance, internal guidance in order to navigate through things. And now we have spirits to guide you. I'm sensing that they really are. I mean, like I feel like they're probably in a lot of pain just because of what I'm seeing here with these two cards. But I'm sensing that in terms of how they're feeling about this connection, they're really trying to trust where they are at and their journey. They're trying to trust their just the present moment. They're trying to look for um, better understanding of what happened. They're trying to heal, and they're really actively seeking out insight from others, and I think from their spirit guides. Um, I also think that they're still feeling really hopeful that this might come back into union. Um, and I think that they might be picking up on like synchronicities right now. Perhaps you are too, but it doesn't quite feel all that over to them. But let's keep going. What do they want to say to you? What do they want to say to pile 4? Okay, we have frustration. We have sadness. I feel like they really saw something with you, like they really saw a future with you. They saw something that was really going to grow and they're devastated right now. There's hurt. And also a little bit, I wouldn't see that they're like really angry with you. I think there's an element of acceptance or they're starting to realize some things that they hadn't necessarily thought of when their emotions were getting the better of them. But there is still frustration here. There's irritation for not having gotten what they had really wanted. What else do they want to say to you? Okay, we have more of this like abundant energy. And I really do think with this card, the spirits to guide you, they really are under the impression that this could turn into something still or could be rekindled. Yes, because and now we have they're really hoping that this outcome can be. I'm getting the feeling that they're trying to manifest. They want to let you. They want to. It's not. There's just a lot of trust here. They feel as though this is a spirit. And then on the back of okay. Um so first things first, we have this Eight of Wands and the Queen of Cups. They really want to come forward and talk to you about their feelings. They want to share with you how much they care for you. There's still this energy of like romance here and love that they have not let go of. They really want to come toward you and talk with you, and they would like to share this. They would like to let you know right now that they want, with the Four of Pentacles here and then the Four of Cups. I think this is further acknowledgement on their end that they remember you as somebody who was pretty closed off, or like who didn't really see the offer in front of them. And I think that they're hoping that perhaps this has changed, um, because then we have the World and the Devil. And I think that they're acknowledging that perhaps like a lot of, I think that they're coming out of this like romantic delusional energy that was in the shadow energy of the night, where they're realizing with this devil that some of their behavior could potentially be unhealthy, in a codependent kind of way. And um, I think that they're kind of worried with this World card here that maybe they are still being delusional in the sense that this, they don't want this to be over, and perhaps it actually is. But there is this really strong belief that there's more to happen in this connection, and they're really hoping for it. And what I'm sensing with the Hierophant and the Seven of Cups is that, like I said, when this card came out, they feel as though this is like a very, very spiritual connection. And with this Seven of Cups, I feel as though what they're saying, what they want to say is that it doesn't matter how it happens. Like, it is this truly manifestation energy. They're like, they're wanting to say that it doesn't matter how it happens as long as it happens. They just want to come back into contact and back into union with, and they're not worried about the way in which it happens. They just want to make sure that, and they're trying to trust the universe. They really are trying to manifest this back into union. They're trying to put it out there what it is that they want. They're trying to believe in the. They're trying to be abundant, and they're trying to learn from the past. And they're trying to let go of control in the sense of like they need you to be X, Y, and Z, and they need you to say X, Y, and Z, and they need this to happen on this day. They're trying to let go of these like demands that really are just kind of inhibiting things from coming into fruition. And they're really trying to sit flow of going with the flow, or of just accepting things as they are right now. They're really trying becoming a better person to say to you. Yeah, I mean, like, they're very, very, very drawn to you. Hopefully this is good news for you, because if not, this person's trying to come back. Let's go ahead and look at this shadow card. The card says, quarrelsome. Does this action fulfill an emotional need for you? Does it make you feel powerful? Is it a bad habit that needs to? If you have any insight for anybody on this, please feel free to share how you have explored this um, shadows. And also, please remember to be respectful of one another. We're all, this is a safe place, and I don't want us to with an energy of self-right, wanting to pick one another apart or bring each Okay, let me get you some. I honor my self-worth by asking for what yeah. I celebrate my progress, awareness, not perfection. If my kindness is a gift I bestow upon. Okay, pile four. Well, that is where I am going to leave you today. If this reading resonated, I would love to hear about how it did in the comment section down below. Um, Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I hope that I will have the chance to read for you again in another video soon. Bye.